Insider, doctors miss this, the real cause of nerve pain you're ignoring. Let me ask you something. Have you ever woken up at 3 in the morning with that burning, stabbing feeling shooting down your leg or through your hands? You try to shake it off. You shift positions, you wait, and it fades just enough to let you fall back asleep, only to hit you again the next morning. You've probably mentioned it to your doctor. Maybe they ordered some tests, told you it was just aging, or handed you a prescription and sent you home. And here you are, still in pain, still searching for answers, still wondering if something is being missed. I'm going to tell you today, something is being missed. And what I'm about to share with you is something that most doctors simply don't have time to discuss during a 10-minute office visit. This is for every adult over 40 who is tired of being told their nerve pain is just normal. It's not normal, and it doesn't have to be permanent. Here's the painful truth most people don't realize. The tingling in your feet that you've been ignoring for months, the burning sensation in your hands at night, that weird numbness that comes and goes in your legs. Most people chalk it up to sleeping in a bad position or sitting too long. They brush it off. They wait for it to disappear on its own. But here's what's really happening inside your body during all that time you're waiting. Your nerves are signaling that something is wrong deeper in the system. Not just in the area where you feel the pain, but in the environment that surrounds and feeds every single nerve in your body. Think of your nervous system like a vast electrical grid that runs from your brain all the way down to your toes. When just one section of that grid gets disrupted, the effects don't stay local. They ripple outward, and the longer the disruption continues, the harder it becomes to reverse. The cruel part is this: nerve damage is mostly silent in the early stages. It builds slowly, it whispers before it screams, and by the time most people take it seriously, the damage has already been brewing for months or even years. Now here's where I need you to really pay attention, because this is the part that frustrates me the most about how nerve pain is commonly treated. Most approaches chase the symptom. They block the pain signal, they numb the feeling, they mask what your body is desperately trying to tell you. But they never ask the most important question: why is the nerve sending that signal in the first place? And if you go to a typical appointment and say, "My feet burn at night," the standard response is often to check for diabetes, maybe run a nerve conduction test, and if nothing obvious shows up, hand you a medication. What rarely gets discussed is what's actually feeding or starving your nerves at the cellular level. Nerve cells are among the most energy-hungry cells in your entire body. They require a constant, uninterrupted supply of very specific nutrients to function, repair, and survive. When those nutrients are low or blocked from reaching the nerve tissue, the nerve begins to deteriorate, and that deterioration creates pain, tingling, burning, and numbness. This is the real cause of nerve pain that millions of people are ignoring. Not because they don't care, but because nobody ever told them. So here's what you're going to learn today. You're going to understand the hidden nutritional, circulatory, and inflammatory factors that are silently destroying your nerve health. You're going to learn why the standard approach only addresses about 20% of the problem. And you're going to walk away with a practical, clear plan to start protecting your nerves starting today. I'll also share something near the end of this video that surprises most people. A simple daily habit that many researchers now believe is one of the most powerful things you can do for nerve recovery. Before I get into the main content, I want to ask you something. Drop a comment right now that says, "I feel it too," if you experience any tingling, burning, numbness, or nerve pain regularly. I want to know how many of you this is affecting, and your response helps me understand what topics to keep making content about for you. Let's start with the foundation. What exactly is a nerve? And why does it hurt? Think of your nerve as a long, delicate wire, like a fiber optic cable, wrapped in a protective coating called myelin. That coating is everything. It insulates the nerve, speeds up signal transmission, and protects the wire inside from damage. When the myelin gets damaged, the nerve signal becomes distorted, slow, or misfires completely. That misfiring is what you feel as pain, burning, or numbness. Now here's the key thing most people don't know. Myelin can be damaged by inflammation, by poor blood sugar, by certain nutrient deficiencies, and even by chronic stress. And when the damage is slow and gradual, you don't feel a dramatic injury moment. You feel a slow creep of discomfort that slowly gets worse over time. The body can regenerate myelin, but only under the right conditions. And most people's bodies are not living in those right conditions right now. Number 1. The B12 crisis that is silently attacking your nerves. Vitamin B12 is arguably the single most important nutrient for nerve health, and a shocking number of adults over 40 are deficient in it. Here's why this matters so much. B12 is directly responsible for building and maintaining myelin, that protective coating around your nerves we just talked about. Without adequate B12, your nerves are like electrical wires with worn, cracked insulation. The signal gets scrambled, the pain signals misfire, the numbness creeps in. Here's the problem that makes this even worse. B12 deficiency doesn't always show up on a basic blood test as dramatically low. You can be in what doctors call the low normal range and still experience significant nerve symptoms. The reference ranges used in labs are not always calibrated for optimal neurological health. They're calibrated for the average population. Who is most at risk? Anyone over 40, because stomach acid production decreases with age, and you need adequate stomach acid to absorb B12 from food. Anyone taking metformin for blood sugar, anyone on acid-blocking medications like proton pump inhibitors, and anyone who eats a primarily plant-based diet without supplementing. The practical action here is to ask your doctor for a full B12 panel, including methylmalonic acid and homocysteine levels, not just the basic serum B12. And speak with your doctor about whether a sublingual or methylcobalamin form of B12 is appropriate for you, since these forms bypass the stomach absorption issue entirely. Number 2, chronic inflammation, the silent fire eating your nerve tissue. You've probably heard about inflammation as the root of all disease. And while that's a broad claim, when it comes to nerve pain specifically, it is remarkably accurate. Inflammation doesn't just cause temporary swelling or redness. When it becomes chronic, meaning it's low grade but constant, it acts like a slow corrosive acid on your nerve tissue. Inflammatory chemicals called cytokines can directly sensitize nerve endings, making them fire more easily and more intensely. This is why someone with chronic inflammation feels pain more acutely. Their nervous system is essentially turned up too high, like a car alarm that triggers at the slightest breeze. What drives chronic inflammation? Processed foods and vegetable oils high in omega-6 fatty acids are a major trigger. Chronic poor sleep, high stress, excess body weight around the midsection, and ironically, a sedentary lifestyle, because the lymphatic system, which helps clear inflammatory waste, only moves when you move. The practical action here is to start shifting your diet toward anti-inflammatory foods. This means more fatty fish like salmon or sardines, more leafy greens, more olive oil, and significantly reducing ultra-processed packaged foods. This is not about perfection. Even small, consistent changes can reduce systemic inflammation meaningfully over time. Number 3, poor circulation. When your nerves are literally being starved. Your nerves don't just need the right nutrients. They need those nutrients to actually arrive at the nerve tissue through your bloodstream. When circulation is poor, even a perfectly healthy diet and supplement regimen can fail to reach the nerves that need it most. Think of circulation like the delivery trucks for your body's nutrition. You can order all the right supplies, but if the trucks can't reach the destination, the warehouse stays empty. And nerve tissue in the extremities, your feet, your legs, your hands, is the furthest from the heart and the most vulnerable to circulation deficits. Poor circulation in relation to nerve pain is often tied to blood vessel stiffness from high blood sugar, arterial plaque buildup, dehydration, and a lack of movement. Even smoking significantly constricts the small blood vessels that feed peripheral nerves. The practical action here is deceptively simple. Movement. Even 15 to 20 minutes of walking daily has been shown in research to improve peripheral circulation significantly. Additionally, staying well hydrated keeps blood viscosity lower, which means better flow to extremities. Warm soaks and contrast therapy, alternating warm and cool water on the affected limbs, can also help stimulate circulation locally. If this is starting to make sense to you, if you're realizing that your nerve pain might have a real, addressable root cause, go ahead and hit the like button right now. It helps this information reach more people who need it. And keep watching, because what comes next is where most people find the biggest turning point. Number 4. Blood sugar instability, the underrated nerve destroyer. You don't have to be diabetic for blood sugar to be damaging your nerves. This is something that is wildly underappreciated. Even in people without a diabetes diagnosis, frequent blood sugar spikes and crashes throughout the day cause something called glycation, where excess sugar molecules literally attach to proteins in your body, including the myelin sheath around your nerves, and make them stiff, brittle, and dysfunctional. Think of glycation like caramelizing a delicate instrument. The sugar stiffens and distorts what was once flexible and functional. And in a nervous system context, that distortion looks like burning pain, reduced sensation, or nerve signal errors. The lifestyle factors driving this are very common. Eating large amounts of refined carbohydrates, going long periods without eating, and then overindulging. High stress, because cortisol raises blood sugar even without food, and a sedentary lifestyle. The practical action here is to focus on blood sugar stability rather than any extreme dietary approach. Eating protein with every meal, avoiding eating refined carbohydrates alone without fiber or fat, walking after meals, and managing stress through intentional practices, like deep breathing or a short daily walk, are all ways to smooth out blood sugar patterns in a manageable way. Number 5. Magnesium deficiency. The forgotten mineral your nervous system is begging for. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the human body, and a significant number of them are directly related to nerve function, muscle relaxation, and pain regulation. Yet up to 70% of adults are estimated to be deficient in it. Here's why it matters for nerve pain specifically. Magnesium acts as a natural calcium channel blocker in nerve cells. In simple terms, it prevents nerve cells from becoming overexcited and firing off pain signals without reason. When magnesium is low, nerve cells become hyperactive. They fire too easily. They stay on when they should switch off. This is one of the reasons why magnesium deficiency is so strongly linked to restless leg syndrome, nighttime muscle cramps, hypersensitivity to pain, and nerve-related discomfort. Modern soil depletion, stress, which causes your kidneys to excrete magnesium faster, alcohol, and common medications like proton pump inhibitors and diuretics all drain magnesium from the body. The practical action here is to increase dietary sources of magnesium, such as dark leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, almonds, and dark chocolate. And speak with your doctor about whether a magnesium glycinate or magnesium malate supplement is appropriate for you. These forms are particularly well absorbed and gentle on the digestive system. Number 6. Sleep deprivation, the thing that makes all nerve pain worse. This one doesn't get nearly enough attention. Sleep is not just rest. Sleep is when your nervous system performs its most critical maintenance and repair work. During deep sleep, your glymphatic system, the brain's waste clearance system, flushes out inflammatory byproducts. Your nerve tissue does the majority of its healing and regeneration. Pain-regulating hormones reset, and your body's ability to manage pain signals is restored. When you consistently get poor sleep, two things happen simultaneously. First, the repair process gets cut short. Second, your pain threshold lowers, meaning the same nerve signal that you might barely notice on a good night's sleep feels excruciating after a poor one. Many people with chronic nerve pain are caught in a vicious cycle. Pain disrupts sleep, poor sleep worsens pain, and worsened pain further disrupts sleep. The practical action is to prioritize sleep as aggressively as you would any other treatment. This means consistent sleep and wake times, a dark and cool bedroom, no screens for 30 to 60 minutes before bed, and addressing any underlying sleep disorders like sleep apnea with a healthcare professional. Here's the bigger picture I want you to take away from all of this. Nerve pain is rarely just one thing. It's almost always the result of multiple converging factors that have been building quietly over time. The reason the standard approach often falls short is that it treats each symptom in isolation, instead of looking at the full ecosystem that either supports or undermines nerve health. Your nerves don't live in isolation. They are living tissue embedded in a body that requires proper nutrition, blood flow, blood sugar stability, sleep, and low inflammation to maintain and repair itself. The shift in mindset here is this. Instead of asking, how do I stop this pain? Start asking, what conditions in my body are producing this pain, and what can I change to address those conditions? That shift from symptom suppression to root cause resolution is where real and lasting improvement lives. Here is your practical action plan to start today. The first step is to request a thorough blood work panel from your doctor. Ask specifically for B12 with methylmalonic acid, magnesium RBC levels, fasting blood glucose and HbA1c, a complete metabolic panel, inflammatory markers including CRP. This gives you a real starting picture. The second step is to immediately begin reducing inflammatory foods in your diet. This doesn't require a dramatic overhaul. Start by eliminating one or two of the biggest offenders, sugary drinks, fried foods and vegetable oils, and ultra-processed snacks, and replace them with whole food alternatives. The third step is to move daily. Even if it's just a 15-minute walk after dinner, the compounding benefit on circulation, blood sugar, inflammation, and lymphatic function is remarkable. The fourth step is to protect your sleep. Set a consistent bedtime. Create a wind-down routine. Make your bedroom your sanctuary for rest. The fifth step is to hydrate intentionally. Most people with chronic pain are chronically underhydrated. Aim for half your body weight in ounces of water daily, and add electrolytes if you're active or live in a warm climate. I want to share a story with you. Not a celebrity, just someone very much like you. Margaret was 58 years old when the burning in her feet started. It was mild at first, almost like a low hum she could ignore. By the time she sought help, it had progressed to a point where walking to the kitchen in the morning was something she dreaded. Her doctor ran standard tests, found her B12 was within normal range, checked her fasting blood sugar, and prescribed a nerve pain medication. It helped a little, but not enough. On her own initiative, Margaret started researching. She discovered that her normal B12 level was at the very bottom of the range. She learned about the connection between her acid reflux medication and B12 absorption. She changed her diet, started walking 20 minutes a day, addressed her terrible sleep habits, and worked with a new doctor to supplement more specifically based on her actual needs. 6 months later, her burning had reduced by more than half. It wasn't an overnight miracle. It was the result of finally addressing the environment her nerves were living in. Margaret's story is not unique. It's the story of what happens when you stop waiting for one pill to fix a multi-layered problem and start addressing the actual root causes. Let's quickly recap what we covered today. Nerve pain is often the result of silent, compounding factors, not just a random diagnosis or just aging. Vitamin B12 deficiency is extremely common and directly damages the myelin sheath that protects your nerves. Chronic inflammation acts like a slow-burning fire that sensitizes and deteriorates nerve tissue. Poor circulation starves your nerves of the nutrients they need, even when your diet is good. Blood sugar instability, even without diabetes, causes glycation that stiffens and damages nerve coverings. Magnesium deficiency allows nerve cells to become hyperactive and fire pain signals inappropriately. And poor sleep cuts off the repair and maintenance window your nervous system depends on. The root cause approach is not complicated, but it does require consistency and attention to the whole picture, not just the symptom. If you made it this far, I want you to do 3 things right now. First, leave a comment below and tell me which of these 6 factors you think might be affecting you the most. Is it sleep? Is it B12? Is it inflammation? Your answer might help someone else who reads the comments and sees their own situation reflected in yours. Second, if this video gave you even one new piece of information that you didn't have before, please hit the like button. It takes 1 second, and it tells YouTube that this kind of content is worth sharing with more people who need it. Third, subscribe to the Health Insider if you haven't already. We put out videos like this regularly. No hype, no gimmicks, just clear, research-backed health information that your body actually needs. Click the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. And speaking of what's coming next, in our next video, we're going to cover something that even most functional medicine practitioners overlook when it comes to nerve recovery. It has to do with your gut, and the connection is far more direct than most people imagine. You are not going to want to miss that one. Disclaimer: the content in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as medical advice and should not replace consultation with a qualified healthcare professional. If you are experiencing nerve pain or any other medical symptom, please speak with your doctor before making any changes to your diet, medications, or supplement routine. Individual results may vary.